Hello, welcome to Living Paranormally podcast, where my bestie Lisa and we have these conversations about life's ups and downs, and we incorporate spirit as well on our journey, so we're able to be more grounded and mindful living with spirit, beautifully balanced. And we're glad you're here to join us. So grab a snack, grab some coffee, tea, or water, and sit down and chat with us.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Lacey Lou.
Hello, Chrissy May. I know any weeds, grab anything you want to snack on because that's one of my favorites. And now I've got you hooked on him. Mini weeds.
Yes, I've always before classes, everyone would say, "Did you have your cutie and all of that?" Nope, I've gone beyond cuties and I've gone totally. Now I need my frosted mini wheats. Just a handful of them, and I'm content.
Right? Right? Just a few, especially the teeny weeny
Just a
ones.
little.
The teeny
The
weeny.
teeny, I don't know if I can do the teeny weeny ones. I don't know. I like the bigger ones, and I did get a box, and I go through and I have to shake it and look in it like a kid and see which ones are all like I had them all attached. I had six of them attached together.
Whoa.
I know, I was all excited about it. I really need that's the joy in my life. The six that were attached together in mini wheats. That's a good day.
And that's what
So sad.
paranormally living is all about. The magical.
Woohoo!
Not quite
Yeah.
there, but like grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your mini wheats. Um,
Yes.
Before we started talking, we said, Gaia, grab our ankles because it's been what is going on in my phone? It's been crazy energy. I really need to ground lately, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's been if any of you please comment below and let us know how you've been feeling because our energies have been everywhere and just feeling maybe more, would you say agitated and just more, I don't want to say lower vibrational, but agitated. I had a lot of um emotions because you know how the healing comes in layers, right? So I recently had my heart stuff come up and a lot of healing around that. And I mean, unbelievably sobbing, so much so that I couldn't breathe out of my nose. My eyes were swollen. Ray comes home and he's like, "Whoa!"
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
"Hi," and he goes, "What?" When he after looking at the dogs, he looked at me and goes, "Whoa, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Do I look that bad?"
Sometimes you gotta let it,
Uh,
it's just, I would say,
yeah.
yeah, lower, not
Oh,
necessarily
it ripped.
say what? I can't even talk.
Oh, it ripped. You said let it rip. I said, "Oh, it ripped."
Yeah, right? It's not necessarily, I don't think, lower vibrational. It's processing, it's the emotions, it's experiencing them. It's yeah, the
It's part
tolerance
of the
level,
journey.
it's part of the journey. And it's interesting you say that because I saw, spirit often puts stuff in front of us, right? That we need
Mhm.
to see or that may apply or that's a synchronicity. And I saw, I'm scrolling and I see this reel and there was a girl that probably looked a lot like you that you just described with swollen eyes and a stuffy nose. And she was talking about, when people awaken, they think it's all rainbows and unicorns. But she said, what you don't realize is it can be painful. It can be
Yes.
huge with emotions, and emotions are just so prominent this
Hmm.
week, right?
Yes, and you
Um,
can't escape them. And especially if that's where a lot of people will get stuck in maybe depression and all of that too, especially on the spiritual journey, because Kundalini awakening is really the journey of purifying the being. And it is hitting every chakra and every part in the body that needs to be looked at. And it doesn't care. It's going through to move it. And it's how, one thing I wrote down is I don't need to know, I just need to flow. Because I'll get spontaneous things from the guides, and I don't need to know, I just need to flow. So when I had that moment of I was talking to someone. I had met someone, had a conversation with him, and the interesting thing is this person is a coach. So he's a coach to be able to help, others going through certain times in their life and all that kind of stuff. So a big healer. So just having a conversation with him triggered this big healing moment within me.
Wow.
And it was really interesting how we came to meet and had a conversation. And by the end of our conversation, I was sucking in tears because I'm like, something's going on with me, and I knew something was triggered. That's just that spiritual knowing now, that awareness that we have on our journey. So I knew something was triggered. I didn't know what it was yet. So after the call, I took the dogs outside, and I just bawled my eyes out. I
Wow.
just bawled, and my head was searching. You know how your mind is just searching, like, what is this? How do I stop this? How do I get away from this? Why? And I finally just stood there and I went, why? And after I had to get the dogs back inside because Olive always has something in her mouth. I didn't feel like, what's in your mouth? What's in your mouth? Stop eating grass.
Get out,
Penny, stop doing
get
this. So I'm like, all right, let's usher the babies back inside. And I just stood outside and bawled my eyes out. And then I finally said, I give up. And it wasn't I give up, it was I surrender. And it's
Mhm.
that moment. It's like when you have light bulb moments. This was the I give up trying to try to force, if that makes sense. My ego is just exhausted, and I'm like, I surrender. I need your help. And then boom, all of a sudden what spirit did was putting series of events that occurred in my life in my head.
Wow. Wow.
And I'm like, oh, this is what's healing. Because I'm like, what's trying to heal? What's trying to heal? And I was trying to force it, and I was searching, and this is not channeling, this is ego. And then I was just so exhausted. So, you know how you just get just mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted
Yeah.
on the journey. And that's how I felt. And then I just took like one of those deep breaths, and it was like, oh my gosh, it brought back in my head when Emily was in high school and started high school and she was in band. And I have my heart stuff, so I can't be there all the time, all that kind of stuff. And my husband said, I'm going to be the band dad. So
Mhm.
he, had a trailer hitch and all of that to be able to take the trailer to away games, all of that. And I felt invisible. And my husband always did everything he could. He would video chat me, he would pick me up during before halftime. So I'd get a phone call. How are you feeling? I think I could do it. And then he came and he picked me up, brought me back to the game. Okay, how are you feeling? Do I need to go home? And in most cases, he had to bring me home and he would come back and help the rest of the game. Or if it was a really good night for me, I would stay there the rest of the night, which
Wow.
wasn't that often. So it was everyone knew who my husband was. Hi, Mr. Newman. They call us Mama and Papa Newman. Hi, Mr.
Mhm.
Newman. Hi, Papa Newman. And oh, you're Emily's mom. And I just felt like I faded in the background and I felt unseen.
Mm.
And because I couldn't participate as much as I wanted to, field trips and things like that. So it brought all of those memories back up. And I'm surprised I didn't even cry right now because I couldn't even get it out. I was telling my husband about it and I'm like, and you would have to pick me up. And like I couldn't talk. Man, when you do crazy faces of the week, I want to see which one you choose. But
That was a good one. I have to say thank you for that. But
you're
doesn't that mean
welcome.
at the moment, then through all that emotion at that time, and you're not feeling such a flood right now, so you have released some of that, you have healed it,
Yes, that means I released it.
right? So I
And if
just
I
want,
didn't and I cried, it would be residue
right,
that's
right.
just coming off, right?
Right. I mean, nothing is right or wrong. Nothing is absolute because everybody's different. But what I want to point out, since you're being so authentic, I mean, not that we aren't always authentic, which is why we have so much fun too, but you're the one that said, so the guides are making me or nudging me to say this. I'm surprised I'm not crying right now because you were bawling your eyes out. But that's the beauty of
Hmm.
experience. Ooh, now I have the chills just saying that word. Experience emotions, right? And
Yep.
allowing it and flowing. And your eyes were
Yep.
bugging
Don't
out
fight,
and your
flow.
nose was stuffy, but now you can talk about it and it's not as
Yeah.
heavy on you. So you, if you are mindful and tuned into living paranormally and allow yourself to be, I guess is my point, then you will see. So, Kristen, you have now demonstrated what you've explained that process, right? Da, da, da.
Mhm.
And I think that's fabulous. I hope I've articulated that because to me it's monumental right now what you said and how you shared because you showed us and explained the depths of the pain and the
Mhm.
sadness or the emotions and then explaining it, pointing out how you don't feel that much to that level anymore. So releasing and healing
Yeah.
is just fabulous. So thank you.
Yes.
I hope that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yes, it does. Well, it was so weird because I was at the end of this conversation with this person and I was sucking in tears. I'm like, don't do it, don't do it. And he's like, yeah, I kind of saw you starting to cry a bit. And I had to message him just to say, I wanted to tell you because that's what energy does. So when you meet someone, especially in the spiritual community, what you're triggered to do and say and how you feel is a clue into what their purpose is and what they do. So he's such a healer and being able to help bring up these traumas and these different things to be able to heal them that it naturally did that in me. So it was really cool. And I wanted to let him know that even though you have to just swallow your pride. I mean, I don't care about that anymore on the journey because it's being comfortable in the discomfort. So none of that bothers you anymore. And the cool thing too is after I had the realization, my higher self is a seraphim angel. And afterwards, so I'm in Florida and I mostly see lizards and salamanders. Salamanders and geckos are very different. Look them up. They are actually the elemental being of water. And when you watch them move, their wiggles are so fluid and really quick. I mean, it's really funny, but they're darker. But I do have some like albino or white salamanders here. And as soon as I went outside during the day, that salamander went bloop, bloop, bloop and crawled up the wall. And I'm like, white salamander. And then what else happened? Oh, I saw dragons popping up everywhere. It was just, what was it specifically? I was meditating, saw a dragon in my mind's eye, and then dragons started popping up on my feed, and just someone mentioned, "Oh yeah, I made this dish, and it's called dragon something chicken and rice." Or I mean, what are the chances of a dish being named dragon? So
Right.
the seraphim, the way I experience them, are these white pearlescent, fiery dragon angels with four sets of wings that reside with Source. So seeing the element of it's not the element of water, the element of fire is the salamander.
Mhm.
So when I saw it, and it's very water energy to me, though, or maybe flamey, but the way that they walk is so fluid. It's really interesting to see. But for it to be white and those white dragons, it was just a beautiful synchronicity. And it was a sign from spirit saying, yes, so I'm embodying more of my higher self because I'm allowing the purification to happen. Um, and it was just really a powerful experience, and I was exhausted the next day. This happened Tuesday in the afternoon. Wednesday I was a total slug. I couldn't get off the couch. I exercised in the morning. Don't even ask me how I did it. I shouldn't have done it because I could feel it. It was too
Right.
much. And there was a butt size Kristen on the couch all day. I did not move.
But sized.
Chrissy's butt imprint.
Yours
And
is
I did
button.
not move because I just couldn't. But
And
that's
we
part of it. I mean, that's how it was such a big,
right.
if you look at yourself like a pipe and we have all of these areas where the energy is trying to flow, that was a big blob of something that came out of me that I was like, it's like
It
you
was
can
stuck in the
hear
pipe.
the color yellow afterwards or something. It was, let's just put it,
Right.
it was profound,
That sounded
is what
so
I'm
good,
trying to say.
right? But no, I get it. I get it. And that's you mentioned too the certain healers or certain frequencies, certain people trigger other things. And I think that's also what you and I experience. Sometimes we will have conversations, we'll get together and we trigger things in each other. And then we
Mhm.
just flow and we're like going down the rapids and we're
Yeah.
having a blast.
Yes.
Right? It's just so amazing. And the epiphanies and the realizations that come up during
Yeah.
our sharing of energy.
Yeah.
And I think, again, living normally, which this week I can't speak either. Um, there's a face for you. Uh, that's part of what it's all about is being mindful and noticing those things. Um, my experience that brought me to Slug on Wednesday was experiencing people that I hadn't been physically around in many, many years and really tuning in and feeling that energy to the point that I had to like go into a room by myself and just ground. Um, it was just a new experience for me. And as you become more mindful, right, in your spirituality, in living day to day paranormally, you notice things. But this was huge for me because I was feeling beyond belief. It was a room full of people. I just had to get out. Oops, I hit my microphone. I hope that didn't sound bad.
No, I didn't hear
As I'm
it.
talking with my hands.
That's how
But
Emily dances.
oh, that's how, okay.
Yeah, and
Uh,
if you say break it down, she goes like this.
but it's just interesting, being mindful, feeling it, realizing what other people's energies do to you or how they affect you, right? How do you feel? And it's something that I got from
Because how long was it since you've seen these people? Just to have like
some
that
of the
time frame.
people I didn't even know, but some of these people had been at least, I want to say 5, 7, 8 years.
Okay.
It was before the COVID shutdown. So
Okay.
over 5 years, but not too long. So maybe it's been
But
6.
look at how high of a jump your vibration leaped to
Yeah,
see that
y-
difference.
totally. You're absolutely right. There's been such a change in me during the last 5 to 6 years that it was like being in a foreign country. Just different,
Yeah.
different, beautiful, great, but just different. And I think all the other people, again, just different. Noticing what you notice, being mindful,
Yeah.
grounding, um, and then a lot of healing triggered as well. So different than you speaking
Yeah.
with this other healer. But again, if you're
Hmm.
open to it, life in general, right? And living paranormally, when you have any kind of experience, any kind of trigger, any kind of discomfort, right? As long as
Right.
you remember to ask, ask for some help,
Yes.
ask for some reasons, listen. It's still going to be a journey of healing and helping and just allowing. So you and I
Yeah.
were both slugs, and I think we chatted briefly on Wednesday and went, yeah, I'm not doing a freaking thing today. No, not doing anything.
I had grandiose plans and that went right down the crapper. It really did. I could have done this, but I didn't.
But yeah,
And that's
yeah,
okay because
yeah,
rest and rejuvenate. And that's the part I think where people will trip up too, because I know I did. When I started this spiritual journey, I was chasing the experiences, hearing, seeing, feeling, knowing, taste, and smell. We chase the experiences when we start because it's magical and it's fun. But when you learn to just go with the flow, it finds you because you had woo-woo experiences while you were away on that too.
Yes, I did. Yes,
So
I
that's
did.
so cool, you
It
know?
is. I mean, it's experiencing, I think once you get to that level and maybe bringing that up too,
Hmm.
you're in a different place with different energies, right? Not
Yep.
good or bad, just different energies. So it's acclimating to the energies, realizing if there's some healing that needs to go, connecting with different other
Yep.
spirits. And I mean, I saw fairies. I've never seen fairies really like I saw fairies this
Hmm.
week. It was so amazingly cool. And when I get real connections, sometimes I'll end up, I call it my movie screen. I don't know if
Hmm.
you ever get, I mean, it's third eye, like you said,
Hmm.
but in my mind's eye, I'm actually looking and going, oh, show me more, show me more. And you can see very clearly, and the movie goes and the pictures go. And
Do you always see like a movie screen though?
no, I don't.
Me either. I don't. Sometimes I do, but it's the vision always changes.
Yep.
And it depends on who's coming forward with you
As to
as
how they
to
present it.
what the how the experience is because different
Right.
beings and people who have passed speak to you in different ways. That's why
Yes.
it's like, well, how come you're not showing me again? Because it's a different being and they speak to you differently.
Exactly. Perfect. Yes, that's important because I don't always see, hear, or know the same ways. But
Yes.
sometimes it's fun. And this time, um, there's always a significance, right? There's something that just speaks to you that you know why they're showing it, I guess, once you get tuned in. But no, I don't always see a movie screen type of thing. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was really cool. It was very cool.
So you had that experience and were triggered and you realized, okay, I need to ground and everything while you were away. And it was the awareness of, damn, my vibration really raised because it just felt heavier being around. Again, high and low frequencies. We're not talking good and bad. It's just the natural evolution of things. It's like being in a room with people that are on different levels, kindergarten, college, all that it's different age groups in frequency speaking. So you
Right.
went through that. You felt exhausted when you got home. So it was the acclimation period, cleansing, regrounding, and all of that. And then what came from there?
Um, Healing, I guess.
Just feeling more.
Just, yeah, acclimating a lot of realizations, right?
Yes.
Appreciating what just occurred, what kind of experience I had, um, acclimating, learning, releasing. Uh,
Mm,
it was funny because a few times I caught myself saying, no attachments, no attachments. So I feel like people there were bringing other things with them, and I felt the need to be protected from not bringing not only other people's emotions or energies, but no attachments. So,
yes.
sometimes things come to mind, and I have learned to accept it, right? Not ask
Mhm.
and freak out and go, what am I thinking? That's silly. No, it's like no attachments. I thought that for a reason. So
Yep.
releasing. So once I came home, it took me probably what, 48 hours, and I'm still dealing with stuff now, but yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, a good 24 to 48 hours. It was just reacclimating.
Reacclimating and
Self-care, right?
balancing. Yeah. So attachments, for those that don't know, like attracts like. So if you're around people that are a lower vibrational energy, they're more doom and gloom and they're complaining. Those spirits and entities or earthbound spirits and things like that are going to attach. it's the nature of the being. It's not any in any way, shape, or form to scare anyone. There's just the circle of life that we know here, how animals behave and all of that. This is the circle of life, spirit and frequency wise. So never get freaked out over things like that. It's just having the awareness of it. I actually have in place an entry and exit points of my home. So actual doorways, front door, back door, laundry, to go to the garage, that type of thing. I put a fresh cinnamon stick there. I
Mhm.
ask which stones want to be put there. So I have selenite or sometimes a tower or a pyramid there. I do keep next to my bed the obsidian. So I have this because I have a defibrillator. So I have a box that has to sit next to my bed. So my defibrillator speaks to the box and updates all of my stats to my cardiac specialist. So I put this little sucker over here just to help with that energy. And I do feel it. I do feel a difference and I felt it, especially after I had my NDE, because that was chaotic. That was scary. I had what, like 8 guys come into the house. People were coming and going to help clean and all that kind of stuff. So everyone's energy. So when I came home, I'm like, how is it going to feel? And it felt good. So we have energy guides, and you can say, I asked my team of energy guides to please continually walk around and be the bouncers of my home and cleanse and clear the energy. So I have a strict rule, and you'll know it because people have said it to me. I always feel so much lighter when I come in. I always feel so good when I come to your house. People just will spontaneously say it, especially those that are notoriously more negative or lower vibrational. And that's how you know that it's working.
That's
Good stuff.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep, I've got the cinnamon sticks, what is that? I never remember the names, but I'm trying to remember. But yes, just taking care of all the entrances, exits, and just making sure that what? What you said. I guess that's all.
Yeah.
What you said, nothing to fear. I definitely was not afraid of anything. Um,
Yep, just an awareness of it. And then it's like, okay, what do I need to do? And then you listen to what and you were intuitively told. So normally if you have an experience, because I'll normally say to my guides, why did I have that experience? Why didn't you just fix it for me? And they're like, because we needed you to experience it to know that it's what's out there and this is how you fix it and it's easily remedied. So again, I learned through experiencing and going through it, although I've only had maybe 5 encounters with lower vibrational entities since 2016. So I'm able to easily maneuver through all of that because the higher your vibration, the brighter your light, those things don't want to go near you.
right.
It's
Uh,
like, you know, when you have a light on outside and things scatter, that type of thing. So others are attracted to it because people that want to be healed are attracted to the healers, which is why
right.
they tend to spill their guts to you. And it can be energy vampires. It can be very draining. So it's really, you were so smart to I'm going to be back in just a little bit. And you went and grounded and meditated and all of that. That's so, that was an awesome boundary that you had knowing I, I need to pause.
Right. Yeah, and I felt better. I felt better too. And so that's when you know you're doing what you need to do, you know. Then I had
Yes.
more energy to kind of go back out and be there. I was just it was just heavy, so I felt lighter, just like you said, just like our spaces. I know I've had people from
Right.
out of state or that don't know me that come and go, "Oh, I feel like it's a resort here. I'm relaxed." And again, it's a
Yeah.
different vibe that we can create. And that's
Hmm.
just again one of those wonderful things of just going with the flow, right? Going with the
Yes.
flow.
Yes. So after I had that holy crap healing moment on Tuesday, then I had the ultimate sluggy day on Wednesday. I think it was that night, right? No. When I meditated during the day, I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday that I
Okay.
had this happen. I had an experience. It was really cool. There were a lot of colors. I was about to come out of body, and I never did have an actual astral projection, but I was about to. I did a lot of remote viewing. That's where I go to first before actually having an out of body experience. A lot of um, otherworldly colors, but all of them, like the greens and blues and yellows and oranges and all of that kind of stuff. And it's, if you know, you know, it just looks very different when you see in your mind's eye and see spiritual colors because they have a life to them. They're not
Right.
flat. There's a depth and frequency to them, is the only way I can explain it. It's not just purple. There's a lot of colors in there that make it up, and it's amazing. But I had this experience of it was all of my senses. So you know how I said before about, when I first started, I was chasing the experiences, seeing,
Mhm.
hearing, feeling, knowing, oh my God, this is so cool and it's all magical. But bottom line is we're awareness having a human experience. So therefore, we categorize as humans hearing, seeing, feeling, knowing, because those are our senses, those are what we know, and that's how we're chasing the spiritual experiences. But when you just allow and you flow with it, your awareness is having you're not categorizing it. I'm seeing, I'll say I'm seeing or I'm hearing, but it comes through in all different ways and in multiple ways. But I felt and heard and knew at the same time. Um, St. Paul was there. I didn't know who St. Paul was. He was talking about this is a transformation moment for me. The word threshold kept coming up.
Mm.
And I looked up St. Paul, and he was actually had a profound spiritual experience. I think he actually went blind for 3 days or something, they talked
Oh,
about.
wow.
And he was profoundly changed after that experience. He went from being very human, very, this is the way of Christianity, and came to a knowing and had this unbelievable spiritual awakening. So he's all about transformation. And for me to go through what I did about my heart stuff and more of a depth of emotions that were coming up from that. Then I went through the slugginess, and then I had these huge epiphanies and learnings. I couldn't stop writing. I was getting all of this information that came through. And the word threshold, I'm stepping through a new threshold. That word came up so much that I actually wound up clicking on a video of someone that I have never seen before. Don't know why it would have popped up. And when I clicked on it, he said specifically, if you're watching this, it's because you're stepping through a new threshold. To use the word. So that's living paranormally in those synchronistic things that come up. I felt the nudge to watch it. The video was like 20 minutes long. At the time, I had the attention span of a gnat. So I really didn't feel like watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to just mindlessly scroll, honestly. I just needed to just get out of my head and just, whatever. And for me to sit there and watch that whole thing, it was only 20 minutes, but when you have that gnat attention span type of moment, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It,
3 minutes is a
it
lifetime.
seems like forever. Yeah.
Mhm.
But
That's
that's
so
what,
cool.
transpired after this big healing event. Just to let you all know, I call it the crappy happy. I have since I started because you're going through all this crap, but there's such joy through it. Not on the other side of it because you have to go through it. You have to feel it. We had to feel the emotions. We had to feel uncomfortable like you did, in the energies and knew you needed to ground. I need to be in that emotion of crying and not knowing what it was. And then fully, totally out of exhaustion surrendered. But that was a deep plug that needed to come out. The other
Right.
ones, I'm like, okay, what is it am I that I'm supposed to know? And then I just kind of go about my day and I'm receiving the epiphanies from it. But this was so deep that I really needed to fully surrender
Right.
to
Right.
that.
And that's so true. Knowing that difference, and then also again paying attention and being mindful. Like you said, you were scrolling, here's something that comes up that is been coming up in your mind. So people go, oh my gosh, why have I, seen this 7 times already today or heard this word or whatever? There's a reason for it. Pay attention.
Yep.
Um, I used to watch people go, there's no such thing as coincidence, and just think that was like a cool, cheesy saying. But
Mhm.
no, once you get there, there really isn't. There's a reason. So it's like, okay, guides, you've now shown me this for the fifth time today, or I've heard this word for the fifth. Okay, I need to pay attention if I haven't by then. What do I
Right.
need to do? What are you trying to tell me? What do I need to
Hmm.
look into? So daily paying attention and living those things
Hmm.
just helps that much more. So I think that's so
Yeah.
cool. And realizing, because I don't sit and watch things for 20 minutes. I mean, I remember yesterday or day before seeing something and they're like, by the time you finish listening to this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, hell no. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Moving on.
What?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. My guides call it mindfultations. So I mindfultate throughout the day. And it's just this being in a, I don't want to say full meditative state, but it's this full awareness of what's around me. I'm not floating. You know how you have that feeling of there's two ways to know that you're ungrounded and not being mindful. It's when you are driving home and you get to your destination and you're like, I don't remember that drive home. Like, how did I safely get home without even being aware of it? Or that
Right.
feeling like you're floating. You're totally floating around and you don't feel connected to your body. You just feel like awareness and my eyeballs are like moving like I'm looking through someone else's eyes
Yep.
type of thing. That's how I know I'm not grounded and I need to go into my body type of thing to ground. But those mindfultations and that awareness, and it's a spiritual gift to have that awareness throughout the day too. So don't underestimate mindfultations and awareness because people will say, how the crap do you remember to think about that, to look that? Because I seriously live and breathe this. I have since I was very little. I didn't realize that I was always talking to a room ever since I remember sitting in bed being so little, and I would have these conversations and not realizing it felt like I had an audience. I didn't know who the audience was. I didn't understand why I was doing it. I thought I was totally crazy, and learn that other people don't do that. But I do, and I really do now. And I'm having these conversations, and it is a spiritual gift to be mindful and aware because
Yeah.
that's how we're interacting. That's how we're able to navigate and live paranormally. We're seeing the signs, and there's a flow to it. It's not overwhelming.
Yes. And it's unique, like you say, to each individual. And you just triggered a memory. A couple weeks ago, I was working with clients I'd never met, just for brief moments at this
Hmm.
event. And there was a younger gentleman there. And as I was working with him, his guide said, he needs to focus more, he meditates.
Hmm.
When I asked him, do you meditate? He said no at first. But then as we started to talk, he's describing kind of zoning out, doing thing. And I'm like, it's a mindfultation or a sleepitation or a whatever. And so I was able to talk with him to say that's a type of meditation. Meditation doesn't have to be, darken or silence the room and cross your legs and sit. And that was one thing you had brought to me years ago, Kristen, which is gardening, cooking. It's a Zen time. In my mind, that's what I called it, that my Zen time. And he
Yeah.
described a task that he does for his work daily. So his brain and his hands automatically do his thing. And then his mind, soul goes out here. And the smile on his face
Yeah.
was so cool to see when he put those two together because the guides were helping me try and dig deeper to get a word where we can find that common ground, which was so cool too. And then he's like, yes, I do that. This is exactly okay. So they're just saying utilize that Zen time, meditation time more when you're meditating in that
Hmm.
to find more answers for yourself, to find. So he's developing it without even realizing it. Right.
Oh, here comes the Kool-Aid man.
Yay! Hello.
I don't know if you could hear her whining. Could you hear her whining in the background? She's
No, but
got
I
her bark is, so she was, woof, woof, woof. Hi,
heard
chick.
Ted come in.
Nope, she just had to open the door. Hi, you can come
Okay.
eat her face.
Like
Hi,
me.
chick.
Hello.
Yep.
He's so
Come
cute.
here. You can come here. Oh, that's yeah, I have to keep the door open for Penny since she's older and she has this condition now. She likes attention, and it's normally at the times where I'm starting a session. I'm starting to meditate. But that's so cool with the client with the session that you had and how it's normally if you really want to connect with spirit, lose yourself. Lose yourself in creativity is what I mean. Lose yourself in this is you're having so much fun. That's the flow. So you hear about people that are in sports and in their craft that they just have these other out of body experiences because they're in this total flow. Hi Lola. Hi, everyone's coming in. Hi Olive.
Yeah,
Hi.
so that's so cool when you just think about that,
Yeah.
as we talk about living paranormally. So hopefully this conversation that was more of a release and an emotions and a healing gives you some more insight. So comment below, ask questions, let us know if you've had an experience. I'm sure we've probably, between the two of us, had something similar. We can walk you through it, help you to better understand what we may have gotten out of it, but everybody's different. So thank you for joining us today. Kristen, any closing words?
No, I thank you so much for joining us on this episode today and do some mindfultations when you're folding the clothes and asking questions. What do I need to know now? Or what is my purpose? How do I find more joy? And allow those answers to flow with you. And if you're feeling emotions, we're right there with you and allow them. Charge right through them because there's that crappy happy. There's something amazing on the other side. Thank you for being here today,
Hey,
everyone. We'll see you next time.
time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.